What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another one of these types of videos. It's been a while since I haven't done reviews or any other videos like this. I know a lot of people have asked me to bring these back in the form of like reviews or like, things like that. And because all I've been doing lately is just like live streaming, which has been easier for me. That way I could just get the videos out to you guys without having to sit there and make sure I do this pitch perfectly all the time. So the streams have been nice. They have been a way for me to just kind of get away from the traditional me having to sit there and actually put in work. So I'm being lazy, but I decided to actually put some work into this again. I decided to actually start editing, and I actually decided to start making these types of videos again. So I'm gonna be reviewing a lot of X-Men movies. Be prepared for a lot of reviews of that. We're going to be reviewing today, of course, X-Men Origins Wolverine. I'm going to be reviewing X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men 3, Days of Future Past. I probably won't get to, what's it called? The reboot or whatever they try to do. I probably won't get to that one, because I didn't really like that one, so I never really watched it or got into that much. So I'll just be focusing on the main line old school movies here. So yeah, just wanted to get that out there before I start. And without further ado, let's go and get started with this. So, X-Men Origins Wolverine. So this is a movie that I grew up watching after X-Men: The Last Stand. When it first came out, I actually liked this movie. I liked it for what it was. But I recently went back and I rewatched it for this review. And boy, has my opinion of this movie changed. Let me tell you. So, there was a lot of things going through my head when I was rewatching this movie. And I think one of those things were, why did they do that? Or why did they do this? Or why did they do that? Just a lot of whys in my head as I was watching the movie again. But before I get into all of that, let's go ahead and go through it. So, X-Men Origins Wolverine. What's it about? What's the story? It's the origin of Wolverine. And what I mean by origin, I mean they go all the way back to like the 18th century, which I think he was born in the 18th century. I might be wrong. I don't read Wolverine, but so they do it that way. They go all the way back there, when he first pops out his claws or whatever. And let me tell you something. When you usually show off a mutant's ability, 9 times out of 10, it's usually the ability that's actually their mutant power. Like, a lot of people don't realize this, but Wolverine's claws are not his mutant power. It's his health regeneration. That's his mutant ability. His mutant ability is to regenerate. It is not his claws. That's just extra bone. That's not his actual ability. Same thing with Sabretooth. It's just his regeneration. It's not the claws. It's not that. So I want to first get that out of the way, because, that's kind of one of the big oopsie in the movies. So he gets his claws out, kills his dad, yada, yada, yada. You know the story. So then you start seeing these admittedly cool scenes of them going through like these wars. It's like, how did we win the war, boys? Oh yeah, we had Wolverine and Sabretooth to back us up. we just duck in front of them and they just be okay. I don't know, but yeah, I did like those war scenes of them just, kind of going through the wars together, which I thought was admittedly kind of cool. And then, then they meet Stryker, and then, then they form that little team, and then you see the scenes where they're, having that operation to find that stone or whatever, the vibranium. No, it was the adamantium. They were looking for the adamantium. So they go, they find it, and then Logan's like, I don't want to be here no more. So then he takes off because he doesn't like killing. Which, I will say this. So let's get this out of the way. In the comics, in the original versions of Wolverine and Sabretooth are not brothers. I just want to point that out right now. So in this movie, they try to do this thing where they're brothers and they're related and yada, yada, yada. I don't really like that. I don't like that they're actually blood brothers in this this movie. I mean, because you gotta remember, that's insinuating that because this movie's supposed to be the origin of Wolverine. So this movie's supposed to be way before X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men 3, Days of Future Past, Logan, all that stuff. I think you can dismiss this movie as being not canon, but this movie's trying to insinuate that it is canon, that they're both brothers. But here's the thing. If that was true, Sabretooth would immediately from X-Men 1 know who Logan or Jimmy is. So you got a conflicting issue there. I don't know. I just wanted to point that out, but there seemed to be a lot of issues, conflicting issues I had watching this movie compared to the original X-Men movies. It just does not fit well. You know, if I was to say anything good about this movie, I would say probably the best part would be the actual, like, him getting the treatment of getting the animatium in his body. And I feel like when he gets the animatium in his body, that's when the movie starts getting good. Because this movie really did try to push the bone claws, which is kind of boring. The bone claws are boring, but him actually getting the procedure and getting the actual animatium claws is actually pretty decently cool. This is PG-13, so it's not really that violent. I think one of the biggest issues I have with this movie is the fact that there's no blood. There is no blood. You do not see people get ripped up in half. You do not see decapitations. You don't see that. They went for that PG-13 rating, and I feel like that's another reason why I think that this movie really does not work. Because again, you have a character like Wolverine who all he does is he slices and dices. So you have to, which is why I think Logan is just one of my favorite Wolverine movies of all time, because they actually went out of their way and they're like, yeah, let me show you that blood, let me show you that decapitation, yo, man, let me show you that Mortal Kombat shit. So that's why I love that movie so much. But this movie, and I think I'm gonna have this issue when I review the Wolverine movie, is one of my biggest issues is that there's no blood when he's cutting people. And I get it, it's PG-13, I can't show blood, I can't show decapitation, yada yada yada. But I feel like they had a missed opportunity here, especially with the fights that are presented in this movie, which I will get to, like fights between Wolverine and Sabretooth, fights between Deadpool and Wolverine and Sabretooth. Like again, there's so... Like, I will get to Deadpool. I will get to Deadpool. Don't get me... That's probably this movie's... I would argue this movie's biggest sin is what they did to Deadpool. And I think even Ryan Reynolds agrees that, yeah, the Deadpool that we got was bad. So yeah, I will get to that. But let me get back to the story. So Wolverine leaves the little group. He's with the girlfriend character. What was her name? Her name was Kayla. Let me tell you something. This is kind of the same issue I had with Deadpool when they like had a love interest. It's not that the love interest is a bad idea. It's just when I don't know who the love interest is, when there's no comic book reference to who this character is at all, when there's no, like, there's some random character who is with the main character. It just, I don't care. Like I don't care. You know, then you know, she ends up dying, so he gets the animatium in his body, and then that's when the movie actually gets better, I guess you could say. For me, at least. Because then he's actually, you know, he's hunting Stryker, and he's fighting those boys, and he's you know, causing havoc. But again, no blood, so, you know, you don't get that much action. But, let's see. So, yeah. So then he finds, what? The Blob. The Blob was in this movie. Which is kind of funny when he, you know, those fat jokes. He's like, did you call me Blob? And then he, like, just smacks right into him. Don't get me wrong. This movie had its moments. It had some funny moments. It had some cool moments. It had some cool action. The action was pretty good for being a PG-13 movie, but it just did not work for me. I don't know how it worked for me all those years ago. I really, really don't. Because a couple years ago, I loved this movie. I thought this movie was great, but after rewatching this, I was like, man, this movie just is not what I want. And I think that's because of the fact that Logan came out. I think it's because of the fact that, you know, those, you know, of time going on, things, I guess, getting better. I mean, I can argue they're not, but whatever. So he figures out where Stryker is. Then he goes to meet Gambit, and it's kind of funny. I remember when people were saying things like, oh, I can't wait for that Gambit movie, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, why do you want a Gambit movie? Like, I think all conversation of that has dropped pretty much, but a Gambit movie, I mean, don't get me wrong, Gambit's kind of a cool character, and I thought in the movie he was all right. It's just a Gambit movie, really? So yeah, people were saying things like that. But Gambit was pretty decent in this movie, even though it was kind of strange that he was, I don't know. It was kind of strange that he just finds him. But it was kind of cool seeing him with his cards and his card tricks and seeing him do some cool stuff. But so then he takes him to the island in his little plane he won in a card game, and then we get the most stupidest fucking acting this side of the Mississippi. So Wolverine confronts Stryker. He's sitting there telling him about his evil plan. Ooh, I needed your blood for Weapon 11, blah 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 blah, because apparently he needed the regeneration ability to make Weapon 11, and Weapon 11 basically is like this ultimate weapon against, I guess against mutants. I mean, he's got a mixture of Cyclops in him. He's got a mixture of Wolverine in him. He's got a mixture of like teleportation guy. I forgot his name. Sorry, I just like there's multiple powers, multiple stuff in this guy's body, which is kind of OP for Deadpool, okay? I mean, goddamn. So not only can he teleport, he's got laser beams that shoot out of his eyes, and he is unkillable, and he's got blades on him. And I'll be honest, I don't think he could get more OP than that, but okay. But Deadpool, let me tell you something. Deadpool can teleport. But he has a device on his belt to let him teleport. He can't just teleport. It's not a power of his. Like, a lot of people don't understand that. Like he has he has technology on him that allows him to teleport. He's not actually able to teleport. His mutant ability, or I don't even think that it is his mutant ability now that I'm thinking about it. You know, he can regenerate. That's it. Again, like, he can't really do much else. He is a skilled swordsman, yada, 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 but, I mean, when it comes to his teleportation power, that's not a power. That's a little device. But anyway, I digress. But again, we get to the stupidest fucking scene in the movie where he goes all this way to kill Stryker, but for some reason he doesn't kill Stryker. Instead, he leaves because apparently his girlfriend was still alive and that she betrayed him and yada, yada, yada. And then he runs back when he hears her yelling because Sabretooth grabbed her. And I was like, what the fuck? Why didn't you just gut him right there? You said you were going to gut him. I don't understand. So he runs back in. He has time to apparently take his jacket off. He takes his jacket off. He damn near kills Sabretooth. Knocks him out. And then he releases all the mutant prisoners that he had, and then we get to Deadpool versus Wolverine fight. And then they did the worst thing. They sewed his mouth shut, which was the biggest joke in that whole movie, was the fact that they sewed his mouth shut, which sucked ass. Which we all can agree was terrible that they sewed his mouth shut. But yeah, they had that fight, which admittedly the fight itself was decent. It was pretty cool. But again, no blood. So, bloodless fight. You know, it was fine. It could have been better. They ended up having Wolverine and Sabretooth versus Deadpool, which was fine, I guess. And then we gotta do the thing, right? We gotta do the thing when Wolverine loses his memory, right? So, after the big fight, he finds his girlfriend wounded. She got shot during their escape. And he's walking off into the sunset with her, right? And then all of a sudden, Stryker just shoots him in the back with an adamantium bullet. And he gets all pissed. He turns around, he runs at him, and Stryker shoots him right in the head. Not just once, twice. No, wait, 3 times? Maybe it was 3 times. Shoots him about 2 to 3 times. So, how he survived that is beyond me. As a matter of fact, I'm surprised that he just didn't put the whole clip in him. Like, why are you stopping? You got him. Just keep going. But the whole point was that he was trying to erase his memory via shooting him in the head, which I'm not a brain expert, but I don't really know where your memories are in your brain, but you're shooting him right here in the head, right? I don't know if that's where the memory is. That's the I know that's like the frontal lobe or whatever, but I don't know if that's like the memory. Anyway, I digress. Shoots him in the head, gets rid of his memories. Was gonna kill the girlfriend, and honestly, he might as well have. But I guess we needed an excuse for Wolverine to get away from Stryker. So she makes him walk to his feet, bleed. He takes off. Wolverine wakes up, doesn't know who he is, doesn't know where he is. You know the story. Gambit takes him to, I don't know. I don't even know where he's going with Gambit. Actually, no. I think Gambit left by himself, and then Wolverine took off by himself. So yeah, that was the movie. That was basically the movie. Yeah, man, this is the reason why I lazily went through the movie and the main points was because, honestly, after I watched the movie, I was like, wow, I need to review this piece of shit, like, seriously, and I was like, whatever, fuck that, I'm not doing this. So, I went through it. I did not want to go through it. Honestly, I thought about just like, avoiding this one in general, but it had X-Men in it, so I figured I might as well review it. But yeah, man, this movie was, like, I was when the credits were rolling, I was like, man, I remember there was a time I used to like this movie, and now I don't. Now I just don't. Yeah, it has some decent action scenes in it. Yeah, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine has always been super great. He always delivers his lines almost flawlessly. He just embodies the character perfectly, even though he's not short. But, you know, everything else is bad. Everything else is bad. The origin itself is bad. I felt like that you could have did this origin way better. I felt like if you actually went for that R rating, and if you try to go something a little bit more comic book accurate, maybe it would have been better. Hell, maybe the blood would have made it better. I don't know. But as it stands, this movie is one of the worst movies, one of the worst superhero movies I've ever watched. Which is crazy, because honestly, like I said, I used to like this movie, but after watching it again, it has a lot of issues. It has a lot of issues. Now, is it still entertaining? Is it still better than most of the movies that I've seen and reviewed? Yes. But a lot of its flaws stand out, and it really irritates me. So with that being said, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. All right? I thought about giving it a 7. But as the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this is, after all the X-Men movies and the Wolverine movies that we've gotten over the past couple of years, as it stands, it is not nowhere close to those movies. I will be reviewing those movies. I have already reviewed Logan. So, that being said, yeah, X-Men Origins Wolverine, 6 out of 10. I'm not going to say nothing more. Thank you guys for watching. 20-minute video. I rambled. Sorry. But thank you for watching, and I'm out of here. Up, and away. See you guys.